Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. Obviously, the Phillies needed a huge win, and they needed it desperately as they left South Philadelphia, and they were miserable. The bats went to sleep. They weren't finding ways to produce runs. It was a really tough watch in Citi Field and down in Atlanta. Well, they returned to Citizens Bank Park. It wasn't the best weather day, and that definitely impacted the game, as Bryce Harper definitely should have had 2 home runs on top of that beautiful double to knock in some runs in that second inning. But it is what it is. They took advantage of an opportunity. It wasn't only the wind that gave them some beneficial run support early on in the game. There was some mistakes made just in the infield, as DeYoung made a mistake, and you had some issues over at second base as well, which allowed guys to get on. And from there, bang, bang, chip away, chip away. Good teams find ways to say, screw you, jerk-offs. Don't mess up. Make the simple outs. Make sure you can keep the baseball in front of you. Throw it to first base the right way. Instead, the ball's hitting their glove and rolling behind them, with their foot slipping as they're trying to make the throw. That's what happened to DeYoung at the backside of that infield. So, hey, I'll take it, all right? I don't care. The fact that Andrew McCutchen has bases juiced and bang, he goes the other way with it, fighting off a pitch early in the count, puts it out in right field, plops it over the infield. My man was 0 for 14. Do you think I give a damn how? Hell no, I don't care how. I care how many. And the answer is multiple hits and multiple RBIs for my man Andrew McCutchen, who has been struggling insanely at the dish. And you need to be able to get going with your leadoff guy. You have to have Andrew McCutchen rolling a bit. You start off your lineup with a man who can get on base, who can get some hits. That's what you need out of your leadoff guy. And Andrew McCutchen has done such a poor job to this point. I don't think he's as bad as what he has put on display. And you could tell just with his reaction, they showed a slow-mo of him facing the dugout after that play happened, and the excitement on his face. Come on, you got Uncle Larry out there getting you going early on in the game and making the most of the opportunities for sure. Gene Segura just thriving. Dude, Gene Segura right now is magnificent. And I just wonder, is this a product of batting that deep into the lineup compared to batting early? Or is this just, hey, we're finally getting the Gene Segura that we saw in Seattle, and we thought that he would be more of this player than he was the 266 version, the 280 version. We're finally seeing the version of Gene Segura, the all-star version of Gene Segura. Man, he was cruising. Now, was there a misplay in center field where the ball, I don't know how much of that play was fully the wind, and also the fact that they just lost the ball out there. I mean, you got to put 2 and 2 together, right? That wind was brutal, and it was definitely impacting where things were. But if you see the reaction out in center field, it looked like he didn't have the ball at all. Like, sometimes you at least can see the ball. They're looking at the ball, and they're seeing, but the body language was, I got no idea. I got no idea. And this was even before the wind was pushing anything forward. So, who knows? I don't care, quite frankly. All I know is Gene Segura's hustling out of the box. My man has been hustling all season long. For as much as he used to get ripped and destroyed for him not putting on the jets and putting on the motor for a Gene Segura level here, okay? I'm not talking that this man has to be flying around like Roman Quinn, although Roman Quinn stinks at baseball, but I digress. Can't get a hit to save his life. Needs to actually hit the ball to get on base, although he could get hit by a pitch or walked. But he stinks is my point. Anyway, I digress. Gene Segura just hustled. That second inning, there were some minor things that were noticeable that played such a role, too, in what they were doing. Alec Bohm, base running, bang, working hard, first to third, no hesitation. Gene Segura, I think that matters. That matters. The way that even though the way you got on and the way that you earned those spots were a little bit wonky, it was just, hey, put the ball in play, and whatever happens, happens. I know the old school baseball people would say, that's how it's supposed to be done. Well, okay, to a degree, yes, to a degree, no. But my point is this. When you're struggling the way that you are away from Citizens Bank Park, you come home and you start running the base paths the way that you do, and you're hustling the right way, you kind of earn those breaks. You kind of work yourself into those breaks. And if you constantly do the right things, I think for a full 162, those right things will benefit you more times than not. You will earn some bounces. You will earn some situational things to occur just based off of doing the right things. And I saw that with Segura. I saw that with Alec Boehm as well. And the fact that you're getting bases juice for prime guys like Bryce Harper, who's just totally splitting the gap, and another guy who is just working his ass off, getting where he needs to be, getting to second base, knocking in runs. You just totally destroy them. They get 6 runs in that second inning and allow Zach Eflin to work with all this run support. Zach Eflin was incredible. He allows the first hit of the game, and you think, uh-oh. And here's Arenado, grounds out to Alec Boehm, double play, bang, bang. I don't know who's the better defender over there, Arenado or Alec Boehm after that double play. All jokes aside, it was a very simple double play. Obviously, Arenado over at third base is just beautiful to watch, and sometimes it gives me an orgasm. I digress here. But what I saw out of Zach Eflin, my point is, Zach Eflin was incredible. It's just funny to see him allow that first hit. Edman gets on, and from there it was basically him shutting the door until later on in the game when Justin Williams hits a home run. And then that was it. But, man, Zach Eflin, that slider, are you kidding me? The use of the slider down in the zone, getting some swing and misses, getting Arenado using the top of the strike zone, swing and a miss. He was great. Now, his stat line read 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 104 pitches. So they were saying, hey, you know, we're getting up there in the pitch count. You're still going to go out. And he was just cruising through. They had no business. They could not touch Zach Eflin. And look, we all asked the question entering the season, what is he? We all believed in the Zach Eflin hype. Zach Eflin could be a 3. Zach Eflin could be this. Zach Eflin's a dog. Zach Eflin's mentality. We were all claiming what it is, what we expect it to be, what it possibly can be. If we set our expectations to the highest, it could be this. And Zach Eflin was absolutely cruising, very efficient. The slider today, every time I watch a game, there's always something when it comes to a pitching matchup that gets me excited, right? And there's one pitch that a pitcher will use. Like, I'm obsessed with Ian Anderson's changeup, even though I'm not saying the Braves have been magnificent this season. I'm not claiming that Ian Anderson hasn't had some struggles throughout. That team isn't where they probably thought that they would be to enter the season. And that's another thing, too, by the way. When we talk about this Phillies team and who they are, where they are, do you really think the Atlanta Braves are where they are right now? No, I'm not saying that. It's disappointing. Like, it's not disappointing for Braves fans and for the Braves team to be where they are. But my point is, here's a team in Atlanta. They're deep as hell with their lineup. They have better rotations. They have a deeper rotation than the Phillies do, with although injuries are playing a role here because of Soroka and Fried as well. But, you know, just with their pure 5-man rotation, it might not be as, quote, top-heavy, but it might be deeper. That's the way I see it. They're not as bad as what their record says. It takes time to kind of groom and grow into who you're going to be. The Braves have been it for a couple of years now, so you don't anticipate them looking so ugly to start a season, but they have. And that's not who they are, and they will get out of this funk, and they will be the Braves team that we all thought they would be by middle of July. I promise you that. I'd be stunned. I'd be absolutely stunned. Well, I think the same thing with the Phillies. They will be who we expect them to be as we continue to watch this season play out, and I think you're just seeing that right now. With Zach Eflin, though, this was a very solid outing. And getting back to the pitch, that's how I got sidetracked to Ian Anderson, the changeup. The slider pitch for me was just that one tonight where I was losing it, all right? When I see him throw that slider and I see it just perfectly executed, bottom half of the strike zone, swinging and missing. Sometimes it's in the dirt, but you're just fooling guys, and they have no clue what to do. And you're outdoing Martinez. Now, Martinez did not have the best help defensively. That's pretty clear. That second inning was abysmal. But we've seen the Braves take advantage of the Philadelphia Phillies being abysmal. Alec Boehm and Rhys Hoskins having some miscues and not being able to throw the ball perfectly to one another from third base to first base. And we've seen mistakes happen. We've seen Adam Hazley not get to a baseball out in center field. We've seen Roman Quinn watch a ball go off the center field wall and not know how to react and not put his body in a proper situation to play the ball off the wall properly, and the ball's running around, he's running around. We've seen all that. We've seen it all season long. The other teams just abuse the Phillies when that happens. You got to be able to put teams away. There's squads out there that, guess what? If that second inning happened, you only come away with 1 run. You only come away with maybe 2 runs. It's a totally different ball game. Not every team can explode for 6 runs, and that's a big difference. Hell, you had Zach Eflin up there just getting hit by pitches with bases juiced. They walk Mickey Moniak, afraid of Mickey Moniak. I wish I saw a little bit more out of him at the dish. He went over, but I understand the logic, of course, of walking Mickey Moniak, getting the pitcher up, and then ends up Martinez hit. So it wasn't just the poor defense. He was terrible in that spot as well. You're hitting the pitcher with a pitch, and it just grazed. Let's be real. If you saw the replay, it just grazed the family jewels. All right, it could have been a lot worse. Yadier Molina behind the dish. Oh, did it hit him? Yeah, it hit him. All right. Just grazed the skin of the pants. Did a couple cringes during that moment. You can't be hitting Zach Eflin, right? You put someone on base, it's like, hey, all right, let's get out of this jam a bit, the best of our possibility, and you do something like that. But Zach Eflin earns it there, and it's just crazy how that second inning transpired, and you somewhat knew, I feel. When you see that type of explosion and you see that type of rally, I think it pretty much just tells you in general, this is the Phillies game. They are going to be all right. JT Realmuto with an absolute bomb that was amazing down the left field line. It just went right through the foul, right around the foul pole perfectly. That's the difference. If you see the difference between where Bryce Harper was with some of his crushes, some of his moonshots that did not leave the yard and would have been home runs. He has 3 dingers this season that would have went out that didn't. So I count them in my mind. When you look at the total home run number, we got to throw 3 more. There were 2 tonight, and there was also the one on opening night that went opposite field that was not allowed to go out because of the wind as well. But those things were crushed. And I remember listening to the broadcast early on in the season, one of those late afternoon games. It might have been the Sunday game. I forget which game it was. It was a weekend game, though. Schmidt was on the broadcast, and the guys were talking about exit velocity. I'm pretty sure it was Schmidt. I'm pretty positive it was Schmidt. But it was along the lines of exit velocity. I never understood that stat. It's a stupid stat. No, it's not. It's not that hard. The anti-analytical world to say that exit velocity doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's just a stupid thing to say. It's not rocket science. This isn't deep numbers. If you hit the ball harder, you have a better chance of getting on base. That's not deep analytics that ruins baseball. Oh, well, who cares if you hit it 109 and it's a out? Who cares? Well, guess what? If you hit it 109, you're going to be on base more times than not. It's really not that difficult to understand. So I saw the Twitter world and I saw all the old school people when you spit out the numbers of how hard Bryce Harper hit the ball, and when you spit out the numbers that the expected batting average, listen to this statement. The expected batting average for those 2 balls that Bryce Harper hit was 980 and 990. Let that sink in. 980 and 990 is the expected batting average for what Bryce Harper delivered with those 2 shots. I mean, that is flat out absurd that he wasn't able to have a couple more home runs on the night. And he already had a good night. And think about what he would have done with what he did plus 2 more home runs. And that's how well Bryce Harper saw the baseball in that performance. And he struck out a couple times previously. And he said to the media, I got to be better. We struck out 14 times as a team. I can't have that. And what do you know? Bryce Harper responds with that type of effort and with that type of hitting at the plate. Come on. This is what I always go back to. Bryce Harper's built different. Bryce Harper's wired different. Bryce Harper is a professional. All right? He says what he says, and he comes back and gives you that. And I know it might not show you on the actual box score afterwards, but if you watch the game, the dude just absolutely murdered the ball and tattooed it. It's just unfortunate that the weather was the weather. On any given night in June, July, when it's your standard little bit of humidity, the clouds are just normal, I guess, and it's just a good baseball night, you're going to have yourself Bryce Harper trotting around the bases a few times. That is for damn sure. Where else were we here? Andrew McCutchen, by the way, I talked about what he did in the first inning. He also had a single in the eighth inning to give you an RBI as well. So it was just nice for Andrew McCutchen. You try and grab onto little moments here and there that are going to be able to help maybe spark a player. And if there's anyone that truly needs it, it's definitely Andrew McCutchen. Let's see if we can hold on to that for a little bit of something. So Segura got 3 hits. Andrew McCutchen 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Reese went 0 for 4. Moniak had an 0 for night. So with Reese, you kind of know what you're going to get out of him in terms of just ups and downs. 0 for 4 one night, 2 for 4 one night, 0 for 4 one night, 3 for 5 the next day, right? It's just going to be that. So I'm not going to put too much stock into that for Reese. I think I need a bigger sample size for him. This is what he's doing in the last 4 games. This is what he's doing for the last 5 games. And, obviously, traditionally, that's for everybody as well. You need a decent body of work to look at. That's why I don't overreact to where we are in the season in general, right? You're 7-6. That's 13 games. Even 13 games for a team, I don't have a full-on assessment of anyone. It's just too early. But for someone specifically like Reese, he gives you those hot moments. He gives you those cold moments. And, an 0 for 4 night tonight could be a 2 for 5, 2 for 4 night tomorrow with a home run and a double. So, Reese is what he is right now. We have Matt Moore versus Kim on the bump for this game. And we have a team in St. Louis that you should be able to punch in the jaw. You should be able to punch in the mouth. You should be able to exploit their situations. We all looked at the NL Central as it is what it is to begin with entering the year. And we know it wasn't the strongest division. So just crush them. When you get a chance, crush them. You have a chance to grab some wins here and to get some momentum and get the ball rolling a bit. As you step away from the Braves, step away from the Mets, just get out of that funk, get that stank off of you, take a shower, clean yourself off. Let's move on. It is what it is out in Citi Field. You escaped DeGrom with the game that you should have had on Thursday afternoon because of the rain. They postponed the game. They move it along to a doubleheader along the way, which sucks because now I got to watch a 7th inning piece of garbage. But that's kind of inevitable this season that you knew we were going to get. Before we continue, I do need to tell you about my friends over at DeSimone Jewelers. I went to them for my fiance's engagement ring, and I'm going to tell you it was the best experience in my life, and you will want to have the same experience I had. It doesn't have to just be for an engagement ring. They also just have beautiful necklaces and earrings and all types of jewelry for Christmas, for birthdays, for holidays. And I go there all the time, constantly. Every time it's a holiday, I'm there. I'm showing my face. I walk in, Brodes, what's going on, man? Brodes, what do you think about the Sixers, the Phillies? I sit down, we talk Sixers, we talk hoops, we talk sports. It's amazing. Well, they hook me up with such a fantastic deal, and that's why I love them so much. It's not just about being a customer. It's family as well. You become part of the DeSimone Jeweler family, and it's something that you absolutely want to experience. They're a family-owned business with 40-plus years of experience. They moved from Jewelers Row. They're now in Haddonfield, New Jersey. They don't use sale tactics. They just sit you down and they educate you. They customize and manufacture every ring they make from start to finish on location. And because of that, they're able to beat their competitors' prices. I've sent so many family members in their direction. I get the same reaction. Brodes, they're unbelievable. And you'll know exactly what I mean when you go in there and you tell them that Brodes sent you. More information is down below in the description. All right, on that Friday night, we did have some anytime hotline calls, so let's make sure we hear from you. Here we go.
Look, man, I'm happy. It's a win, right? But I swear our wins and our run production so much of the time comes from the most unconventional shit you've ever seen. A ball gets lost in the lights, that's a double off third base bag, blooper into right field, dribbler infield hits. How many times do you see it with these Phillies? But that being said, I'll fucking take it. Mickey Moniak looking decent. Zach looking great. Kutch getting back into it. Let's see Harper go deep in the next couple games.
I would like to hope so. Yeah, I'm with you. It's not how you draw it up, especially in today's baseball. But look, at some point, you look at it and you go, it's a win. It's a win. You're now 7-6, and the alternative is what? you fall and you lose a baseball game to the Cardinals after leaving Citi Field with kind of an awful sour taste in your mouth. So I definitely agree with you. This isn't how you would think about it prior. If you're falling asleep before, if you're a player, I used to do this all the time, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not an outlier here on how I would prepare myself. But when I was playing in my college hockey days, the night before, if I knew I was playing on Friday or Saturday night, I would fall asleep, let's say Thursday night before, and I would envision the game, and I would think, all right, I'd put myself in certain situations. Here I am coming around the net. I'm stick handling. I'm going to make an outlet pass to my winger. Or here I am in the offensive zone. I'm going to get the puck up at the blue line. I'm going to walk over. I'm going to throw a low wrist shot on net with some traffic in front. And we're going to see if we're going to get a tip. I would just play it out in my head. So then when it actually happens, it's okay. I'm ready for this moment. I thought about it last night. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk the blue line. Maybe I pass it back to the half wall. And we allow our offense to somewhat get generated down low behind the goal line. Things like that. So these baseball players, Bryce Harper, Gene Segura, Andrew McCutchen, I'm sure even Alec Boehm to start things off too with what he was doing early in the game. When he was getting on base, he was running from first to third. Things like that. I'm sure you're not thinking of DeYoung making a mistake and slipping with his back foot. I'm sure they're not thinking about balls getting thrown through second base a little bit, and you're just getting a little bit of lucky with Carpenter. So things like that, yeah, you don't envision it happening. But when you do, punch him in the jaw. When you do, get one, get him square in the nose, pound him in the nose, take that knockout punch, right? When it happens, all right, now you got to readjust. Now you got to readjust your mindset. Fine, look, we see that they're not fully engaged here. They see that they're thrown off a bit. They're not their sharpest form. What happens when they're not sharp? You better execute. You better tattoo one, square one up, and make sure they make it hurt. And that 6-run inning absolutely made it hurt. They were not feeling good afterwards. I talk about it all the time, like not so much with what the Braves were doing, but when I talk about getting up early and making it an unsettling feeling for the other team where, oh man, like with the Phillies last year, if you're down, it's so hard to fight back because even if you fight back, your bullpen is going to blow it. So your reaction as a team is, oh, man, we are not going to be able to do this. If you get down, you're already defeated internally. So when you go up 6-0 against the Cardinals, that's sort of a big enough lead where you can see that they look deflated. You can see that they look, oh, no, we're down 6 and we got to fight back in this wind. And, if they can think about maybe getting the long ball going, how are you going to get the long ball going on this type of night? If Bryce Harper's getting robbed and he's getting totally destroyed by the baseball gods and Mother Nature, how are we supposed to climb back into this game without being able to score that many runs with hitting home run pitches? So that's a problem as well. First off, hitting home run pitches, you can't even hit Zach Eflin to begin with because my guy is cruising and using all layers of this strike zone with perfection and bang, bang, boom, 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 bang, bang. Upper half, upper outside corner, lower half outside corner, coming inside, whatever. You name it. It was just a masterpiece out of Zach Eflin. And the confidence in this kid, it's all about the confidence and poise and the body language out of Zach Eflin. It's money. I'll tell you what, it's flat out money. But I do think it's big that you came out and it just looked like the Cardinals had no life afterwards. Monstrous. Be able to do that more often. I was going to bring it up this year so far. The Phillies have done that, though, where they have allowed a couple runs early. They didn't look like that, right? Like when you saw the Cardinals, you kind of knew. You kind of knew in that second inning. They don't have it. They look like they are not happy. They don't look invested. They look like they're pissed off with themselves, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. Like when you look in their dugout, all right, fellas, hey, let's get one back here. Let's get one back here. Let's get one run. When the Phillies, but that's the difference in 6 runs, 2 runs. If the Phillies go down 2-0 because Zach Eflin gets hit a bit and he allows a double, and he allows a single, whatever, some small ball to happen, you're down 2-0 in the Braves. There's a big difference between being down 2-0 to the Braves and then chipping in and making it 2-1 compared to 6-0. The fact that they were able to go through the lineup, they were able to get Zach Eflin hit by a pitch, walk the batter, this and that. Bang, baby, bang. It was great. The caller brought up Mickey Moniak. I mean, I'm not the biggest Mickey Moniak guy in the world. I don't think that that's your solution. The solution is outside of your organization. So, Ofer and a intentional walk, and like the bar is not high for what you need to be at this point in center field. But I'm just not a big Mickey Moniak guy to begin with, so I'm going to be a little harsh until I'm sold otherwise. All right, here we go.
Well, the Phillies offense sure came alive today. Again, we knew they weren't as bad as they've been the past couple of games, and a couple that explosion along with some very questionable Cardinals fielding choices, and pretty much almost a shutout from Zach Eflin besides that final, I think it was the 8th inning. The Phillies got the job done against the Cardinals. Home crowd definitely had an effect, I think. Just really nice to see JT homered. Mickey Moniak getting the start. I like some of the things I saw from him fielding-wise. He wasn't making egregiously horrible plays. He's not going to be some superstar, but if he can just be a solid center fielder, I'm okay with that.
Well, here's the problem. Right now, we're okay with that, right? Right now, we're okay with that. But at the end of the day, like, center field is supposed to be a position where you have a stud. You don't platoon center field, and you might get, like, certain pitchers, right? Like, that's how they're kind of looking for Mickey Moniak's role right now. Center field is supposed to be a guy, the guy. That is a position where you're supposed to have a solidified dude who is actually a stud playing. We're now at the point where it's like, hey, just don't be embarrassing out there, and we're going to be satisfied. Well, obviously, that's better than what Adam Hazley and Roman Quinn has been giving you, but ultimately, that's still flat out not enough. And if I'm Dave Dombrowski, I'm picking up that phone right now. Mickey Moniak's in the mix. Like, you got to start piling up pieces and going out and grabbing a player. I saw Corey Seidman of NBC Sports Philadelphia kind of throw some names out there, and I guess I'll kind of pull up the article if I can. Just to kind of throw a few names out there. And they're not insanely eye-popping, but let's see if I absolutely despise what they have done to their website. I mean, it's almost unusable the way that they have set up their website. It's not too early. Here you go. It's not too early for the Phillies to look at some options here. You gotta look in another direction. There's no way that we can be satisfied. In most cases. Okay, that's a piece of Corey Seidman. Mitch Haniger is a name out in Seattle that I would be intrigued by. Right now, at the time of this article written, which was a couple days ago, he's 17 for 53 with a 3.21 batting average with 4 doubles and 4 homers. Solid offensive player. He was an all-star season in 2018. I like that for sure. Haniger would be my favorite one for sure. Tapia is another one as well. Then there's some names where I know in Atlanta they want to get rid of, who is it out in Atlanta? Man, I'm drawing a blank on his name and it's ridiculous. But he's got a high payroll. That Inciarte. They're trying to get rid of him, but are they really going to make a move with the Philadelphia Phillies? Probably not. Absolutely not. So I don't think that that's like I don't know fully what you're going to get. Is that a settling thing? Is the price going to be obnoxious? Because if the Braves are actually going to trade a center fielder like that to a team like the Phillies who are trying to make a push, are you going to help them get better, but they really want to do anything to get your hands off of him? You got to go out there and do something. And I don't know if you're going to wait as long as, the trade deadline. You got to do something prior to that if you're going to be serious. Dave Dombrowski, I would imagine Dave Dombrowski and Joe Girardi are smart baseball minds, and I trust their pedigree to be able to go out and do something. So, I don't know. I'm just waiting for something more because Mickey Moniak ain't it. He's just not it. He's not it.
How is Eflin, line up with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler? How is Zach Eflin our best pitcher so far? And Bryce Harper, I think he's close. How is
all right, I guess a little messed up phone line there, but I got your point there with Zach Eflin. Yeah, Zach Eflin, I have been underwhelmed with Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler to this point, but it's just so early on, right? I think, kind of how I alluded to earlier, the Braves in July, you're going to see them be like, that's the Braves team. Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler in July, by then you're going to see enough sample size and you're going to see enough work out of those two where they're going to be all right. I'm not happy with what they've given you. They've struggled, and it hasn't been their best baseball to this point, but I don't think that's who they're going to be all season long. You're going to have those nights where Aaron Nola dices 12 Ks and no one can touch him. You're going to have those nights where Aaron Nola is full paint and he's giving you unbelievable work on the outside part of the plate, and lineups are confused and baffled all night long. And there's going to be outings where Zach Eflin goes 4 2/3 in 5 innings instead of 7. Like, there's going to be those outings. Zach Wheeler's going to give you 7 innings, and there might be a night where he gives you 4 2/3. It's just we're coming off of a Zach Eflin outing where he was extremely strong, where your first 2 starters over the last 2 starts for them both haven't been their sharpest versions. But I think it'll all flip around, and I go through this all the time with baseball. I personally believe in, and I know a lot of people do as well, the back of the baseball card. When you go to the back of the baseball card and you look at Aaron Nola's stats, you're going to get something. By the end of the season, no matter how it plays out, you're going to get something very similar to the back of the baseball card. With Zach Eflin, you're going to get the back of the baseball card. So I'm not happy with what I've gotten out of Aaron Nola to this point. I'm not pumped up about what Zach Wheeler has provided. But at the end of the season, we're going to look back at the back of the baseball card or baseball reference, whatever you want to utilize, and you're going to see numbers that you kind of seen throughout their careers, and that's who they are. So it's so early in the season now. You're judging them off of a couple starts that weren't good, weren't perfect besides their first starts. I think that will change, though, for sure. And, yeah, Bryce Harper, I think that he's locked in. I think Bryce Harper is starting to really see the baseball the best way that he possibly can. I love seeing these videos of his breakdowns on his footwork and the way that he, like his front foot, and when he taps on he does it with 2 strikes, but, 1 strike, no strike counts, 2 strike counts. The way that he professionally attacks the plate and the way that he professionally attacks the pitcher and the way that he, it's pretty much just like choking up with 2 strikes compared to not. And it's just every which way he approaches the game, I just admire from a professional athlete standpoint, the way that he is so dedicated to the craft and how much thought and work he puts in. It's amazing. It's beautiful to see. And I loathe over it. I really do. All right, before we get out of here, do not forget about my friends over at DraftKings as well. There are so many different promotions and odds boosts that you can utilize in professional baseball, the National Hockey League. We got the NBA going. UFC's on the way. Golf was amazing with the Masters. Like, there's so much that you can do utilizing DraftKings Sportsbook. It would be silly to not download the app and utilize it by using promo code Brodes when you sign up. I'm telling you, the odds and promotion boosts are incredible. It's safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code Brodes when you sign up. That's code Brodes when you sign up for a limited time at some of these promotions. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.